Then Now Forever Ray explores a wide array of topics surrounding Bison athletics and the lives of Bucknellians near and far. With live interviews hosted by members of the Bucknell Athletic Department, Then Now Forever Ray highlights the university's proud tradition of excellence in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in life after graduation.
Dave, what's going on? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction. We're all very happy and just fired up for you for being inducted into the 2022 Bison Athletics Hall of Fame. How does it feel?
It's very humbling. I've been excited about it. I've been hoping for it for a few years. I wanted to get in with my buddy Andy Rendas or my buddy Kevin LaValle, and was hoping to get in with one of them. And when I didn't, I had the thought that, shoot, I might never get in. And then, of course, I got the call, and I've been very excited, especially knowing they reduced the class from 7 to 5. It feels like a bigger honor, and so I'm just ecstatic.
So tell us a little bit about that call. Was that from Todd Newcomb?
Yes, it was.
So you worked with him back in the day with the Bison Club. I'm assuming the two of you are close. What was that like? What were your emotions like when you got that call?
He called, and I knew what it was about, because I knew the timing, and I've been so anxious to get that call for a few years that I've been looking up, when the committee meets and when they make a decision. And so I've been calling folks and trying to figure that out. So I was anxiously awaiting that call, but at the same time, it was great to get it from Newcomb. And I've known him for quite a while. I've known him since my time as an athlete, and grew closer to him when I was a coach and when I was doing athletic specific development. So what a great call. And we lived close to each other too, just down the road from each other. So great to get it from him. Great to get it at all, but just happy.
Well, we're so happy for you as well. Now, I want to rewind a little bit to your recruiting process. I had the opportunity to take a road trip with Coach Wernsberger. We actually went and saw Bill Graham, which we'll talk about a little later. But first, we were talking about your recruitment process, and he wanted to make sure I asked you so you could tell the story about your decision to attend Bucknell. He said when he was visiting your high school in Harpersville that your superintendent was there, and there was a brief period of time where you had to go talk to your superintendent. Were you unsure, and what exactly did he or she say that influenced you to come to Bucknell?
He stole some thunder because I wanted to talk about it anyway. It's very interesting. To back up a minute, my coach had sat me down months before that to fill out some questionnaires for a number of different schools. And obviously Bucknell had called. I went on an official visit with 20 or so folks where we got to meet Dan Gable. We had a great tour. We heard about the foundation of the program and what Bill Graham was looking to start. And I was excited. Loved everything about Bucknell, the proximity to home, the great academics, and the ability to start a program. All that said, I hadn't visited anywhere else, and I hadn't known anywhere else. So I just didn't know what I should do. And my superintendent, Kathy Wood, after hearing the conversation and hearing an offer, pulled me out by the ear and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Miss Wood, what are you talking about?" And she said, "You need to go in there right now and tell them I want to go to Bucknell University." And I said, "Okay, Miss Wood, like, don't hurt me. I'm going back in, and I'll do that." And I took her advice, and very happy that I did, because it paid off tremendously.
Well, we're happy about it too. So, a big thank you to Miss Wood for impacting your life in such a way. Now, kind of sticking with Bill Graham, I want to talk about him. It was a wonderful opportunity to get to meet him for the first time. I think everyone knows how much he means to this program, the reinstatement of this program. Talk about your relationship with Bill and what he's meant to you throughout your career, and then even after your career through your professional life.
Yeah, Bill has given just about everything to me by providing the opportunity to go to Bucknell and be on the wrestling team for 4 years, and ultimately coach and then do development for the team and stay involved. I like to say that my dad kind of gave me some shoes, and Bill Graham opened a door and let me walk through it. And through that door was every opportunity I could ask for. I've met most of my best friends because of Bill Graham. I've had a coaching job and another job at Bucknell because of Bill Graham. I met my wife through a Bucknell friend, all because of Bill Graham. And so I'll always be indebted to him. We'll never be able to pay him back. But such a fantastic human being. He means so much to the wrestling program, to athletics, to Bucknell in general. And I'm very, very thankful for him.
Now, in terms of your professional career, you're working in advancement at Georgetown. We mentioned earlier you also worked for the Bison Club. Did Bill's, impact on you have anything to do with your decision to get into friend and fundraising because you saw the impact that he had on the program?
Yes, and it took me a little while to understand the impact of Bill and others like him have done. I only knew wrestling through high school, through college, and as a coach. And then shortly thereafter, I got into some other sales roles and started to really think on what I care about. And it's higher ed. And I love athletics. I love higher ed. And the opportunity that Bill provided to others is something that I'm trying to do through my career. And if we can do anything for kids, it's to open doors for them. And that's what fundraising does. It opens doors to get into school, and it improves the programs, the sports that they're on. And so ultimately, like I said, we are opening doors and providing a better opportunity for a better life or a better experience or whatever that may be for the student. And so, yes, in a way, he helped me get where I'm at.
That's awesome. Now, take me back a little bit to when you were a student athlete at Bucknell. I didn't know this. This was just brought to my attention earlier today, but your locker room was quite a bit different than what the team has now. Now when Miss Wood helped encourage you to make the decision to come to Bucknell, would she have had to have even done so, had this new facility been built? And what type of impact does a facility like this have on recruits these days?
Yeah, our locker room, right? I think I would have been begging to get a spot on the team had I seen the facility they have now. We were in the general locker room with everybody off the street in the communal showers. It was tough in there. But now they have one of the best facilities in the country, certainly one of the best in the area. And it's a fantastic place to train, to study, to do whatever they want. And the research shows that the groundskeeper has as much sway on folks committing to a school as the president, because you see buildings first, you see the greenery, you see the facilities, and that's all very important, especially when you're competing for the best kids in the country. And so we were promised a locker room when I was in school. Obviously, we never got it, but to see it now and to see it paying off is awesome.
So I'm glad you hit on that because, you've had the opportunity to be a student athlete, to be a coach, to see what it takes to recruit, the best and the brightest, and now working in fundraising at Georgetown. How has that kind of changed your perspective on, a Patriot League student athlete? How, coaches have an extremely difficult job. What have you learned throughout your career as far as recruiting goes?
Well, it is very tough. It's one of the toughest jobs in the world to convince a set of parents that they can trust you with their kids for the next few years and that it's better than whatever the next place is, academically or athletically or socially. They have a lot of convincing to do. Now, when you're talking about a place like Bucknell, it's not that hard, but you still have to ask them for a big check sometimes, depending on where they are or where they come from. But it's incredibly difficult. It takes so much time away from your families on the road, so much time competing. And so all the respect is due that those coaches earn.
Now, Coach Warnsberger also wanted me to ask you about a Snickers bar. He said back in the day that there might have been some issues cutting weight. Obviously, you overcame those issues. You had a phenomenal career going into the Hall of Fame this fall. What's the story with the Snickers bar?
So I had trouble with my weight throughout the duration of my career, but at the NCAA tournament the night before, I was hungry, right? You go all year, you grow, and at the end of the year, your body's worn down, but also you might be a little bigger from spending a full year in a college weight room. Shout out to Coach Shrek, who's done a fantastic job. But um, the night before, I was a pound or two over, maybe after working out, and I wanted to eat something, so I figured why not eat something that's 4 ounces, like a Snickers bar, and I'll feel good and I'll enjoy it, and I'll wake up the next morning and get the rest of the weight off. Well, Larry Sprecher found it and took it from me. And I think we went to a team meeting. He said, "You're not eating this. You're going to go have some chicken and pasta or whatever. Put something good into your body." And while we're having this meeting, he opens it up and starts eating it. And I'm like,
Oh,
"You
no
have to be
way.
kidding me. You could have at least waited." Um, but they called me Snickers for a while after that because, just a young kid, I wanted a Snickers bar.
Now, another thing I want to hit on is, phenomenal career, four-time co-captain, four-time NCAA qualifier, which is just amazing. Did you think that anything like this could happen when you chose Bucknell? I can only imagine, selecting a school who's reinstating the program. Probably a lot of question marks about, if you're going to succeed at first or not. So just walk us through that and who maybe had a big impact on your life and was able to help you succeed in the way that you did.
To answer the first question, no, I wouldn't have imagined I had had that kind of success. But also, I remember writing goals down on a questionnaire thinking I was going to be an All-American and national champ. And so it's both sides of the coin for me there. Um, Ultimately, my dad played the biggest role. He got me into the sport when I was 7 years old. For years, he had been pushing me to join a wrestling team because I walked around and strutted and I was short and stout, and he thought I would be good at it. But I didn't think I could do enough push ups to make a wrestling team, not knowing that you don't need to do a certain amount of push ups to join a wrestling team. I was just coming up with excuses because it was new. And then I did it, I fell in love with it, and it's been a big part of my identity ever since. Um, my high school coach was very influential. He coached me for 5 years, had me fill out that questionnaire to go to Bucknell, and then obviously Dan Wernsberger, Dave Hoffman played huge roles in my development as an athlete. When I came to Bucknell, I would have been described as very raw. I didn't know much at all. I just fought really hard. I had a gas tank, and I never quit. And they gave me everything else that allowed me to succeed because that's nowhere near good enough at the Division 1 level, especially not in the EIWA conference. And so they taught me every technique that I've showed in the past 15 years or so came from them. In addition, they broke us down in preseason, and I thought I was well conditioned and I thought I was strong, and I quickly found out that I was neither of those things, and I had a long ways to go. So I owe a lot to Dan and Dave.
So talk a little bit about your upbringing. Your family growing up. I know you hit on it when you got into wrestling. And you looked up to your dad. What kind of influence did your family have on your life as a student athlete and then beyond?
Uh, my dad was everything. My mom passed away when I was 7, and a couple months later, he said, "Let's try wrestling." And for some reason, that was the time to do it. Um, he knew very early on that wrestling would be a good way for me to be attracted by a good college, and to provide an opportunity to go to college and not come out $250,000 in debt. And he preached that over and over, having never graduated from high school, and neither did my mom. So that was always the goal, was to become a great wrestler and go to college. And that was pretty much it. Get a degree and then figure everything else out after that. So that was huge. I just knew it was important. I knew Bucknell was a great school, and ultimately it worked out well.
So Dave, I can't thank you enough for joining us again. We're so proud to be inducting you into the Bucknell Athletics Hall of Fame this fall. Have you talked with some of your former teammates? Are you guys going to be getting together over that weekend?
I have. I immediately reached out to Andy Rendas before the announcement came. Said, "Hey, I'm joining you. Congrats on yours," which had happened already. But I wanted to let him know that we both made it. Two of the three of us that graduated in 2010 are in. So now we just need to get Shane Riccio in. And so I plan to put him in my speech and make a pitch for him if he's okay with it, just to go 3 for 3. But yeah, a number of folks have reached out, congratulated me. A few have said they want to come, which of course we need to confirm and reconfirm. Um, but it'll be great to get a number of people back, many of which probably haven't been back since we graduated. And so I'm hoping to make it a little bit of a Bucknell wrestling reunion, a great excuse to get up with the family. Um, and it will be a nice opportunity to take my daughter around some facilities now that she's a little older to see Bucknell and hopefully get it on her radar, even though she's only 3 years old.
Well, I love it. You're already starting to push Bucknell on her. That's perfect. Well, hey, Dave, thanks again. I can't wait to meet you in person in the fall. Congratulations again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joel. See you later.
All right, take care.